Hi everyone. So we're just going to talk about general kitchen safety. We won't get into details on every topic, but just a general reminder for a few things for your children and yourself in the kitchen. First things, to try to keep your area clear, your kitchen countertops clean and clutter-free so that you don't end up grabbing a knife that's sitting under a plate or dropping a pot with so many things around you. The next thing that I want to mention is near the stovetop. So just making sure that you're always shutting off your burners and not keeping any pots or pans on the burner. Sometimes we think they're shut off and they're not, and food could scald and start fires that way. As well, we want to make sure to always have the handles pushed in. If they're sitting out like this, then a young child could grab the handle and then they could burn themselves that way. So a few tricks and tips for that. Oven safety as well. Make sure that you always have protection for your hands. Everything coming out of the oven is hot. And then when you do set things down, making sure that you are careful because handles can be hot, baking sheets can be hot, so that others around you know to be careful around those things. Knife safety is a big one. And with that, we want to make sure that your cutting board is stable. I put a little wet cloth underneath mine here to help, so you can see the difference between this, very stable, compared to prior to. It could shift around, and especially for kids that are learning, it can be helpful to make sure that it's nice and stable and that you're at the right counter height. As a kid, you don't want to be cutting like this. It's uncomfortable and unsafe. And then also remembering that when you are cutting, it's safer as kids and for parents to teach kids this, that you have a stable vegetable. So this flat side down versus up here where it's wobbly and shaking around. So you're chopping this way and you're tucking in those fingers and you've got your knuckles up towards the knife and protecting yourself this way. And then very similar with peeling, you want to make sure that you remind children that this is sharp. It doesn't look like a knife, but it's just as sharp, and that you're peeling away from your body. So never coming in towards yourself. So whether it's a knife or a peeler, doing that, and then washing your peeler right away and not just throwing it in the sink where someone can grab it and cut themselves doing dishes. So being always careful of those blades. And then same thing, another example is your blender. So your blender, making sure that things are unplugged, because that is electricity before you get in. And then when you are in there, that this is a knife, or these are several knives, so very sharp, being careful to carefully wash them and help your children to understand that these are very needing to be very careful around them. So that just covers some of the basics. Make sure to read your manuals to make sure that you understand your equipment. And there's lots more tips and tricks, and we'll send out some more information to give you some guidance. But just watch your children, make sure that you are helping them at the right level for them, where they feel comfortable, and you'll be the best because you know your family in terms of what will keep your kids safe in the kitchen and having fun, of course.